The Marauder made Jax a ghost, but you can't hide forever when the Duke decides to burn the forest to find the fox. Halloway sent a full battalion to a trade hope called New Hope. He wasn't looking for resources, he was looking for us. He told the governor he'd level the city block by block until Jax Krell was handed over in chains. Jax looked at the Marauder and knew it wasn't enough. You can't be a shadow when you're standing in front of 1,000 civilians, I told her. You need a wall. You need the thunder. I found it awesome! In a collapsed hangar, half buried, frozen in a standing tomb. 80 tons of pure, unadulterated defiance. It sat like a mountain in the center of the bay, the most stubborn piece of iron that ever came my way. No missiles in the shoulders, no ballistics in the hand, just 3 barrels of lightning to protect the Holy Land. I had to strip the freedom's backup core to make it jump, hearing the life support begin to groan and thump. I packed it full of heat sinks till the cockpit was a crawl, built to stand the pressure and to never ever fall. It's a slow dance, Jax, I told him as I locked the plate, but it's the only thing standing between the people and their fate. The Duke's men came in waves, a sea of gold and blue, thinking they could do what the battalion came to do. Jack stood on the bridge, the only way into the town, watching the horizon as the sun was going down. They told him to surrender, they told him he was through. They said, there's 80 of us, boy, and only one of you. Jax didn't say a word, he didn't even shift his weight. He just dialed up the sensors and he opened up the gate. The first bolt of blue light and tore a griffin right in half, and all I heard on the comms was Jax's quiet Halloway. Oh, it's the awesome to reach the long arm of a lot. The meanest piece of justice that the sector ever saw. One man against the many, one heart against the cold, turning back the tide of the Steiner blue and gold. My younger self, she was praying to the gears, watching 80 tons of metal wash away the years. The armor began to glow as he took 100 hits and he never let him go. His cockpit was a furnace, his skin was turning red with the heat of 3 suns surrounded inside of his head. Nags, the bypass is failing, he shouted through the roar. I told him, hold the line, Jats, give him 1 volt more. He'd fire till the barrels were melting in the rain, trading all his comfort for a legacy of pain. He was the anvil, he was the stone, scanning for a city that he'd never call his own. By the time the moon was rising, the battalion was a wreck, with the smoke of broken mechs rising up the Jax's neck. They retreated in the darkness, they fled into the night, broken by a ghost who refused to quit the fight. The awesome was a ruin, its wasted blackened shell, a monument to a man who'd walked through every gate of hell. I pulled him from the cockpit, he couldn't even stand, with the marks of the neuro helm burnt into his hand. He looked at the city, he looked at the lights, then whispered, Max, I think we won the right. That was the night the ghost became a legend. Word spread from New Hope to the inner sphere about the pilot who stood alone and the mechanic who gave him the lightning to do it. We were still hunted, still broke, and still outmanned. But for the first time, the Duke was the one who was afraid. I looked at Jax, and I saw the boy from the hangar. Only now, he had the eyes of a Ching. I went back to the freedom, and I started looking for an atlas. If we were gonna end this, we were gonna need the biggest ghost of them all.